Hello, hello, hello. My name is Martin Gilchrist, and I am the practice manager at Gilchrist Co Chartered Accountants. Yesterday evening, without permission and completely unplanned, I released the secret project that Declan Barry had discussed with me over lunch yesterday. As Declan said, I cannot hold my water. And I was so excited about it that I just wanted to let the world know. So, the idea didn't pop in. It's not actually even probably my idea. It came from a conversation that I had over lunch with Declan yesterday. So I've asked Declan to join me now just to go through properly, like grown-ups, what it is this idea actually is, and what we're going to do, and why we're going to do it, and what we hope to get out of it. So I'm going to start off by asking Declan to take 2 minutes, less if possible, to introduce himself, tell us who he is, what he does, and how he's connected to me. Declan, who are you, Declan?
Absolutely. So, yes, Martin, we've been connected for a long time, more than either of us care to remember. So my name's Declan Barry. My business is ExportExplore. I work in the economic development industry. And what that means is I work to help companies from the UK and Ireland to do business in North America, often for the first time. And the vast majority of my time is spent helping North American companies to do business in the UK and Ireland for the first time and making introductions in both directions. So most of my work is in facilitation, and it's also in working with companies to understand what it is they do, what they sell, who they should sell it to, and why anyone should care. So a lot of it is based on looking to see where opportunities can be. And that's kind of where this conversation came from, that we thought there was an opportunity for something a little bit different that we could explore.
I have actually had the privilege and the pleasure of just touching the surface of what it is you do and how you do it, and actually going to get into the nitty-gritty of strategic planning and all your wire graphs. I don't even know what stuff's called, but I tell you what, it really impressed me. So when you suggested that you would be willing to help me, work with me, co-found whatever it is we're doing together. I'm not absolutely sure what it is we're doing together, but when I knew that I had a little bit of your assistance in regards to this matter, I was very excited indeed. Um, so the name, you came up with a brilliant name yesterday. It was cubicle to camper van.
Mhm.
What does that mean? Why did you come up with that name?
This is a bigger thing, Martin. And as much as I enjoy massaging your ego, um, as significant as it already is, I think there's something here that's actually about a bigger story that people are facing at the moment. And the conversation we have, just a correct history here. Yesterday afternoon, we spoke about it, but I've been banging this drum with you for about 2 years now.
That's fair
Uh,
enough.
you've finally taken the bait on it. So really what we're talking about here in terms of the idea of cubicle to caravan or cubicle to caravel because of your own little VW machine that's at the side of the house. Um, really what we're trying to say is that the bigger picture for loads of people in the post-COVID world of they're currently sitting in a cubicle, they're working for a big firm, they are trying to create a career for themselves, but perhaps they don't want to do it within the big structure and the corporate environment. They want to see how it's possible for anyone who's good at what they do, is good at building relationships, and has the capability to take something and execute it professionally. That they have the opportunity to go from working for somebody else over a not insignificant but not an enormous period of time and actually create a lifestyle for themselves that they enjoy. And Gilchrist and Co, I think, knowing yourself and knowing Michelle, I think is a good example of a family business that started with the two of you working in an office in other accounting firms, and you've invested a decade in doing things the right way, building a business, and not that not to say that you're done and dusted and that you're hanging up your boots, but to say that you've actually taken it to a point where you're actually now looking at, well, what does the next stage of this look like, and potentially your son coming in to look at the next phase of the business. That's a really interesting story. And what we're trying to explore in this is the stuff that you guys have done to make that happen. So, everyone on this platform knows about the events. We know about the podcasts. We know about these online interviews. And we used the example yesterday of, the Naked Gun movies, where Leslie Nielsen bursts in the door, trips and falls over backwards, and accidentally knocks out the perpetrator and saves the day. And while I'm sure there was some method in your madness, you guys were just doing what you were doing to do it. But I actually think if people who knew what they were talking about were sitting in a conversation with the two of us, they could tell us, well, actually, what you were doing was building business relationships. You were uh, doing online sentiment gathering. You were doing all these technical business things and marketing activities, and you were just doing them. But in fact, there was some theory behind them. So I thought it would be fun to explore your lived experience and map that against what the consultancy world and the marketing world say is best practice, because I think there's a hell of what you guys did, which was best practice, but you kind of did it not by accident, but you did it just because that's what you naturally felt you should do.
Yeah.
So that's where this all came from.
You're absolutely right. We didn't use a manual or some sort of
No,
academic
exactly.
genius. We just did it. Now, because I'm cautious of the time, I don't want us to. I tend to waffle, and I want to make sure that I don't do that this evening. In about a minute or so, how do you see this progress? What is it we're going to do actually? Make this work to make this happen.
Well, what we would like to do with this, and apologies, my systems all just went upside down there for a second. It's fine now. Um, what we would like to do is our first step is we're breaking down a little bit of what the process actually looked like. So I've asked you, Martin, and Michelle as well, because she's not getting out of this. She's involved in this too. Um, what we've asked you to do is to have a think about the major events of the last 10 years of the business, and how, what you think, was it the first time a big heavy hitting client came on board? Was it the first, was it actually making the decision to go out on your own and start your own company? How do you guys run the business in terms of maintaining the high levels of quality and consistency that you do? All those good things. We have to decide what those landmarks are. And then what we'd like to do is to invite on guests where we're going to chat about, the experience and how it was for you and the lived experience of actually doing these things. And then what we'd like to do is bring in subject matter experts who can talk about, the importance of organizing events, the importance of building community, how to use social media, how to gather sentiment, how all these things are, and they can add another layer to that. What we would really like to do, if this works well, is between the lived experience of the entrepreneurial journey, plus the insight from experts coming along to contribute to the conversation. I think there's the potential to publish something which is extremely accessible and relatable for people who are thinking about starting that journey. And that's what all this boils down to. This isn't your usual, nonsense about hustle and, work 1 million hours a week. And if you really want it, you can succeed if you'll only buy my program. This is not about making money. This is about sharing the experience and hopefully showing that if you're sitting in a cubicle right now or in a job and you're not happy, here's how real people can actually do these things.
Brilliant. In 30 seconds, what's the outcome of this if it's successful? What does success look like?
We will successfully share the story of how professional people who are good at what they do and want to have a little bit more freedom in their life can accurately, safely, and within manageable risk tolerances go along that journey, and they can choose what their jumping off point is, and they can choose when enough is enough for them. And I think that's an important part of your lesson, is actually knowing when's enough. When do you expand the business? When do you not expand the business? When do you expand your client base? When do you not? That's the important part here. So it's just about telling that story and letting people draw from it what they wish.
Declan, thank you very much. This is the first step on what I hope will be a journey. Hopefully not an incredibly long journey, but certainly an exciting journey. And I am very glad, you know, I'm absolutely delighted that you are here to carry my rucksack for me.
What is new?
See you later, alligator.